everybody, it's me, James Young. We got a great episode of Crying in My Car coming your way. First up, we're going to talk about Devin, who made a trip to London. And he's going to tell us all about the fashion do's and don'ts that he learned. Then we're going to talk about actor Timothee Chalamet. His high school drama teacher reaches out to him, and then he gives some word of thanks to them. Then we're going to end things about talking about therapy. Yes, teachers, you need therapy. No, we're going to talk about the fact of how it can help you and get through the day. All this coming your way right here on Crying in My Car.
Hey everybody, welcome to Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. I'm Devin, Siebold, James Jan sitting right there. Thank you all for tuning in and supporting us. Patreon.com/cryinginmycar. There's bonus content over there. There's some surveys. You can kind of have a little bit of participation in what we discuss on the podcast and get your name read right here on the podcast. So don't forget to check that out. Hit that share button, 5-star rating. And I am out on the Board Teachers Comedy Tour coming up for the fall leg. And I would like to tell you a few of those dates. You could check us in New Brunswick, New Jersey, Springfield, Massachusetts, Poughkeepsie, New York, and Tarrytown, New York. Tarrytown, I don't think I've ever been to. And that is October 2nd through 5th. You can check us out there. And then we're going to be back in Des Moines, Davenport, and Rockford, Illinois, 9th through the 12th of October. That is actually my birthday weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
There you go.
But hopefully you'll be able to check us out on tour, boardteacherscomedy.com. And James, I bring that up right off the beginning to talk about the tour because, you know, we did go to London.
You did.
And there was something funny about this that I would like to bring up that I was...
Wait. Don't start a war.
I won't start a war.
Okay, got it.
London was very fun.
Okay.
Very cool people.
Yeah.
Everybody was really nice. It rained the entire time. It's a very gloomy country.
Is it?
Very gloomy.
I've heard that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you don't realize it is gloomy.
All the time.
All the time. But to match the gloom, everybody wore black or dark browns, dark blues. Like, everywhere you went, it was just all black jackets.
Just as a society. They're
Black
like,
jackets,
we're doing black.
Dark jeans, black, dark. It was just like a funeral at all time. Now, this jacket that I'm wearing, if you're watching on YouTube, is a bright red Mickey Mouse jacket.
Yes.
I bought it to stay warm in the UK right before I left. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Do you realize everybody looked at me like I was Ronald McDonald going down the street? I wore it as I walked around London. Yeah. And literally people are like, what the hell is he wearing? And I'm like, do you guys not buy this stuff and come home with it? Like, I mean...
All right, let's have it.
They did not.
Who's this bloke?
I was fish out of water. I wore it the very first day, and then I wore my black coat the entire rest of the time because I wanted nothing to do with not blending in.
So, yeah, they got you.
Yeah.
So you were pressured to wear all black.
I was like, I think I'm the one that I'm going to be robbed for sure. Like, because they were like, be careful of pickpockets. Don't make yourself stand out. And I'm like... Well, bright red Mickey Mouse jacket in a sea of...
I didn't realize that it was like that.
I didn't realize either. I mean, I was walking around and I even noted, I told Liz and Casey, I said, look around. I said, do you see any colors that people are wearing? And there was none. No vibrance, no spring colors. No, it was all black jackets.
What would Steve Harvey do there?
I don't know.
I don't know. What would he do?
I don't know. He would twiddle his mustache.
Right?
I don't know. You'd have to visit a haberdashery.
A haberdashery.
Well, yeah, but it was wild. I didn't think that anything that was different.
Okay, tell me. You know what I ask you every time you go to a different place? Mm-hmm. How's the food?
So a lot of people talk trash about London food.
I've heard.
I enjoyed what I had, but I knew what to go for. My family is British.
I know.
So I already knew the bland stuff that probably wouldn't go over well, especially with the group. Like if I took Casey and Liz someplace. Yeah. So we'd go someplace and they'd be like, do I get the mashed peas and roast? And I'm like, no.
Can I ask you? Because that was what I was going to ask you about specifically was the mushy peas.
Yeah, the mushy peas.
Is it literally what it sounds like?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
And there's almost no flavor. I mean, that's the thing is we view flavor as salts and seasoning.
Seasoning.
They
yes.
view flavor as just the flavor of the freshness of you got fresh peas and you have fresh potatoes.
Got it.
And it's like, yes, but I'd like some fresh butter and salt on these potatoes.
I would.
And yes,
Yeah.
and not tuna. They put tuna on the potatoes, you know. Yeah, on the jacket potato, they call them jacket potatoes. It's baked potato. They put tuna and baked beans on the
Tuna and baked beans.
on the top of the potato. James.
I'm like, I need to take this up a notch.
Yeah, that's a big thing in London right now. The Spud Brothers or whatever. Yeah,
Really?
But I just went fish and chips, and I love fish and chips. And I even told Casey, I said, "You'll love the fish and chips." I said, "But grab that malt vinegar, get it all over it,
Gotcha.
and then you'll have some flavor, some bite, you know."
Gotcha.
And that was true. And so we did fish and chips quite a bit.
I would like fish and chips in London. I would like that. Yes.
Yeah, and then did a few other meals. The full English breakfast I love. I do not like blood sausage.
Okay.
Anti-blood sausage.
Gotcha.
Didn't.
Gotcha.
No, but had really good full English breakfast everywhere, and that comes with beans.
Yes, I've
but
seen it.
I do enjoy the beans.
I
at the
wouldn't care,
breakfast. Yeah,
honestly.
It's very well balanced. You got a little bit of fiber, a little bit of protein, a little bit of grains,
And it's
a
a
little
big
bit of
breakfast. Yeah, it has
huge.
it's very big.
So that was Casey's favorite thing. And you know what's funny is Casey landed, and within an hour of him getting home, he literally, I go, "What are you up to, Casey? Did you resting?" And he goes, "Actually, I'm at the grocery store right now. I'm getting everything to make a full English breakfast." He goes, "I missed the full English, so I kind of want to make some full English breakfast." And I was like, "Yeah, it's good stuff."
He doesn't even talk the same now. It's like, yes, Devin, I'm getting some breakfast food.
The British sausages to me are far superior.
Really?
Yeah, breakfast sausages here are just mostly fat and fat and heavy seasonings.
Correct.
Over there, they have like much more subtle seasonings and much leaner sausage. To me,
Oh,
it's
okay.
much better. I think, anyways.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it just depends on your flavor profile. But I knew what to eat, so I ate what I want. And then, of course, when I was in Manchester, I don't know why, but I just after 8 days
Yeah.
of British food, I saw a Five Guys, and it was like seeing a well in the middle of the desert, and I was like, I'm no Five Guys, yeah. And so
Bro.
I went to Five Guys. Oh man,
Devin, I can see a Five Guys now.
what's so
Yeah.
funny is like everywhere you go in England, they have no preservatives. I mean they have preservatives, but they have like none of the bad stuff that we have.
GMOs.
But you go into Five Guys, and it's just like, no, we give them an exception. They have all of the allergens, all of the oils, all of the peanut oils, and yeah.
The bag of fries. The huge bag of fries they
That
give you.
you get, and literally you can see through them, like because there's so much grease in them. Yeah, James. So we're gonna stop this recording, and we're gonna head over to Five Guys.
You can take
for
a
little
bag of Five Guys, just take the bag after you eat the fries. You can like wring it out and you actually get a full bowl
Yes.
of grease.
Yep. But
And,
the best thing about Five Guys fries is you eat the fries and you like pull the cup out and you eat them, and then you have your burger, and then you're like, okay, I'm done. Then you go to put the trash in. You're like, more fries.
More fries. Yeah.
Round two.
Fight.
Yeah. But I did enjoy London. The fly over was nice. The flight back was miserable.
Why?
Because you're flying against the Gulf Stream, so it's literally like 2 hours longer. It was our flight back.
Oh,
was,
and how many hours?
out there it was 8.5. Back it was about 10.
That's a long time.
Yeah,
to
10
be on
hours
plane.
on a flight is
That's
brutal.
a long time. Yes.
Yeah, especially for somebody that's 6'6".
Oh my God, you had to get up every so often. I'm sure.
No, I didn't. I literally just stayed put.
What?
Because I have this weird thing where if I stay put, I'm fine. If I get up and move a little bit, then my body gets restless. It's like, oh, it's like it's a taste of freedom. And I'm like, no, you're in jail for the next 10 hours. You will not move.
I like that.
Yeah, I didn't even get up to go to the restroom.
In 10 hours?
10 hours. Yeah, teacher bladder, bro. Got it.
Hey,
still got it.
Respect.
Yep.
Respect, bro.
Also, UTI. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice,
I want to go back. I'm going back in July.
You should.
Yeah, well, I've got tickets to go see Oasis. Yeah.
That is your thing, man.
Yeah,
that is
I love
your
Oasis.
jam, man.
Yeah, I got like 4th row tickets to their very first concert after 15 years. So
Oh,
stoked.
all right.
Yep.
Let's have it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I really want to be just close enough that when the Gallagher brothers fight, that I get just a tooth hits me.
You actually get
know?
the referee.
That's all I
I
want.
want a good, clean fight. Yeah.
All right, James, let's jump into the teachers in the news because I got an interesting discussion to finish on this. So, teachers in the news. Timothee Chalamet was actually at the Oscars. I don't know if you caught the Oscars.
I did.
When people viewing this, obviously, it's a little bit dated, but
Yes.
that's okay. Timothee Chalamet was presented with a congratulations from his former teacher. And they showed him a video of his former theater teacher.
How cool is that?
It is. The teacher just simply said, "Help." that's all. Help.
I'm in a
please.
portable.
Yeah.
Please come get me.
My pay went down since you left.
Yes,
Yeah. It's always interesting seeing celebrities see their old teachers because there's always such fondness, you know? There's that clip of Steph Curry when his teacher came to the game, and it's like, oh my God. And it's wild to me that so many people talk bad about education online, and I'm like, come on, you had that one.
You did.
You know, you had probably more than one throughout that changed your life.
Yeah, you did.
Teachers can change the direction of your life. They will inspire you. I had my fifth grade teacher, or sixth grade, sorry. I know for a fact she was like, "You're a very creative writer." And I was like, "I'm creative writing for the rest of my life." And I started writing like so much. As soon as I got that compliment, it was the green light to create.
Yes.
And now I'm creating.
You are. Look at us.
I
you're
create.
creating.
Yeah.
And you do it for a living, my
Yep.
friend. Yeah. So shout out to that teacher,
Yes,
by the way.
absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
I also thought about it. Would you give back? If you're Timothee Chalamet and your teacher's like, "Hey, congrats on the Oscar nominations. You're doing great." Is there any inclination as a celebrity with now millions of dollars, knowing that teachers make almost nothing, but they inspired you and gave you the skills to get that Oscar nom? Would you help them out in any way?
Wouldn't be a doubt in my mind, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
I think so too.
Not even like take a moment to think about it. Like, yes, if I have this economic privilege and I know that they're in need and they don't have the resources, I'll find a way to help them.
Right.
I'll find a way.
Because I know an NFL player, very successful NFL player. I'm not going to call him out. I don't want to call him out, but he went to the school that I taught at. I see him every day. Very nice guy. Great NFL player, making millions of dollars. If I said his name, you'd be like, "Oh my God, of course, yeah. I loved him. Love him. He's still playing, you know." But his football coach,
No, can I guess? Is it Air Bud?
no,
Okay, got it.
his
Good.
football coach in high school, I know, contributed to his success of getting into college.
Yes.
You know, do you give back?
Yes.
Do you look back?
Yes.
I mean, you know, if at bare minimum, I think if you were a celebrity, you contribute to the program at least.
I would say that.
Man, I remember doing football and those pads were busted. Hey, coach, did you ever get those new pads? No, I got you. They're on the way. You know, or
Yeah.
if you're Timothee Chalamet, you go, "Dude, that lighting that we had, remember all those lights didn't work, or that soundboard was so dated? The Timothee Chalamet light board is coming to you, you know, and give the next generation of Timothee Chalamets a better setup."
And you could even take it further than that. It doesn't even cost you much. You could actually go talk to the drama department, like to the kids in the program.
Hey, there you go.
That would mean to them the world.
Imagine just Skyping with an NFL player before the big game.
Oh my God!
You
Yeah,
know? It's like, "Hey man, I was in your position. You know, you got this. You
Yes.
know, now I'm in the NFL and shoot for those, you know, those dreams." And I know.
Absolutely.
I think you should give it back, but who knows?
I don't know-
Money changes people.
And I'm not telling people they have to do it. I'm just telling you what I would do. I'm learning to do that. I would do that, man.
Yep, I think I would too. Now, as you know, as a nation, we are shifting away from public education into a push for charter under the new administration. They are pushing for charter schools and vouchers in private school vouchers in a lot of states. There's a benefit to that, and there's also a non-benefit to that.
Let's talk about
We're
it.
starting to see some of the bad.
Okay.
So there's a former CEO of a charter school organization that had around 9 schools that is now being charged with funneling $1 million to himself. Apparently, he had some friends set up fake invoices to them, paid them out through the charter school's funds, and then they went back and either paid his bills or gave him money directly from those contracts. And, 3 of the schools actually had to be shut down because of lack of funding. And he stole $1 million. You know, how many kids impacting do you think there's going to be? The thing is, I'm not making a joke about this. I just want to talk about it real quick, just briefly. The thing that we hate about public schools is red tape. There are 10 people doing a single job, and it has to go through so many levels. I hate it as a speaker because I know if I'm going to speak in a new school district, some states are not conducive to that, and they make me do fingerprinting, and then I do background checks, and I become an approved vendor, and I got to go through all these contracts and all this other stuff. And I hate it as a speaker. But also there's the flip side. When you have charter schools and money going to schools that are non-tested, that are new, that have private investment, that are being ran by a CEO, you also have cut out all the red tape and now literally paved the path to corruption.
Yes.
You have literally put up a stop sign and just tore it down and said, look, green light, go.
No checks and balances.
So I think there's some medium. I think, public schools, I think there's too much red tape. We have too many people doing the same job. There's redundancy left and right.
Yes.
Because I get that. Because I'll literally do fingerprinting and they're like, send that to this department. That's Sharon. When you're done with the fingerprinting, you're going to get the badge. That's Kyle. When you're done with the badge, you got to do the contract work. Well, that's Stacy. And it's like, 3 people for this one job?
Could have been one thing. Yeah, one stop.
But on the flip side, now you have CEOs that go unchecked that can literally write checks to themselves.
And they do.
And
then we're surprised. Like,
yeah.
Could you believe that?
No. I know.
Could you believe
So I think that there needs to be a balance here. I mean, there has to be some oversight. There just has to be.
There has to be.
And we can't give these. You're talking about giving millions. That was $1 million that he funneled to himself. And it's not just $1 million. You sit there and go, oh, it's just $1 million for the charter schools.
No.
That was $1 million that was supposed to go to the public schools. That's now going to the charter schools that went to him instead.
And it wasn't just him taking money. You said 3 schools closed?
Yeah.
All the jobs at each of those schools are gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a much more than $1 million impact, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, the last story that I want to talk about, this one is really interesting. Kind of last time we talked about DEI, right?
Oh, yes, we did.
And we said DEI's gone away.
Yes.
Well, it turns out Providence, Rhode Island has come under fire because they have recently let 17 teachers go. And that's common. A lot of districts let people go.
Yeah.
That
a lot
happens.
of teachers, though.
That's 17 teachers, especially in a teacher shortage. But maybe Providence, Rhode Island doesn't have as bad of shortage because they usually pay a little bit better up in the Northeast.
Makes sense.
So they let 17 teachers go. Normally, not a news story. Just, okay, downsizing, too many positions, sure. This one, of the 17, 5 of them were gay, 2 non-binary, and 2 black.
Ooh.
That's a lot of disproportion. I mean, statistically speaking.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Statistically speaking, it's very disproportionate. Especially the LGBTQ community up there is kind of open an eye to this, and I think they're opening an investigation into that many. But this is the thing: does that now fall on deaf ears?
That's a great point, and when we talk
Who
about
do you
this,
argue it to?
Who do you argue to? Because those departments are being disbanded. Those particular groups that were put in place to help people when they would face this kind of thing are no longer there.
Yep. The people that go, yeah, that's discrimination. Now you just have the internet going, yeah, that's discrimination. And it's like, okay, but what's the next step? How do we rectify the discrimination?
Yeah.
But is it, I don't know. These teachers could have been bad teachers. I have no idea. But, it does raise a red flag.
It raised an eyebrow at least.
Yeah, because you're like, how many gay teachers did you have? Because if it's a very small number and you just fired 5, that's almost 35% of the workforce that you fired of 2% of your total workforce, then we have questions.
Yes.
Is this
What's now the process for something like this? Who do we talk to?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to know. But so that is the teachers in the news. Now, James.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about something that we normally don't talk about, especially 2 men sitting here, 2 fine gentlemen.
If you will. Yes. Yes. Pinkies up.
Do you know why we couldn't go record today at 9 a.m.?
No, I did not know why we couldn't record at 9 a.m.
We were supposed to do 9 a.m. and I asked to be pushed back to 10:30.
Well, I thought it was beauty sleep.
I mean, of course.
Come on.
Go ahead.
No. Go on.
No, not beauty sleep.
No.
I have started something that we just don't normally talk about. Therapy.
You started therapy?
Yeah.
You're not the only friend of mine who just recently told me that they go to therapy. Now, I got to ask you, man, What prompted you to go?
A lot of things: stress, anxiety, imposter syndrome, fear of failure, not having the safety net in terms of career, wondering if I'm on the right track, just a lot of internal things that I find a lot of
I'm making
anxiety.
a face at you as you tell me these things because imposter syndrome, which I find hilarious because you've been doing this how long now?
Yeah, a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
And you've been quite successful how long now?
Yeah.
Which
is why I'm trying to figure out why I'm doubting. I just don't. I don't know.
I love the fact you're bringing awareness to this because I think it's
Yeah.
something we need to talk about. And I think more and more people should actually do therapy, especially in my community because it's frowned upon. It's like, But I like the fact you're talking about it because the person that I told you about that's in therapy also says it was such a great process to learn about himself.
Yep.
And
there
he
are
says,
a lot of questions that you have to answer
Yes.
that sometimes are not easy questions to answer.
No.
And in the process of hearing yourself talk about it,
that's what he said. Yes.
you have a lot of realizations.
You're like, you'll come. A lot of people think the therapist or psychiatrist is there to give you answers. That's not necessarily the case. When you talk about these things, that's why they keep talking to you. Sometimes when we say the things like you said out loud and hear ourselves saying it, we're like, we have aha moments. Oh, that's why. Whenever a situation like this happens, I react that way because I have been, this one moment in my life is the trigger for So it's definitely a lot of self-awareness, self-discovery. So man, I wholeheartedly say congratulations, man.
Yeah, I mean, I
bless.
think it's a good thing, and I think it's something you should talk about more, especially guys.
We should,
Sometimes we don't prioritize that, and it blows my mind. Guys will go to the gym for 6 days a week to refine their outer.
Correct.
And yet their inner is so broken,
Yeah, I mean-
and it's something that, not only guys, but, teachers especially. Teachers, sometimes you just need somebody to talk to.
Oh my God.
And not necessarily, I know some insurances are weird. I got really fortunate that I Googled mine and reached out to them and they were like, we cover up to 2 sessions a week. And I was like, 2? I was like, unbelievable.
There
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
amazing.
Yeah.
And trust me, it's a terrible insurance every other way.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's good.
Yeah, I
mean,
get something out of this. Yeah.
But
why are you here, sir? To talk about my insurance.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But teachers, especially, given your insurance, I'm not sure how many visits you'll get, but at least get that teacher that you can talk to, that friend that you can talk to about it, maybe somebody that you can text and, that's not going to be judgmental, that'll listen.
That is cathartic.
Sometimes you need somebody to listen, but, people think, oh, he's out on tour, and he's
We do think that.
and he's performing for 3,500 people a
Yes.
night. How could he possibly be upset? And it's like, well, I spent 6 hours, prior to the show alone by myself in a city I've never been to in a hotel room. And I go back to a hotel room. There was a run.
Devin.
There was a run in 2023. There was a run where I didn't go home for 48 days. And of those 48 days, I never spent a night in the same bed. And so I wake up every day and I don't know where I'm at and I don't know what I'm doing. And,
Yes.
and I try to, keep mental health about me. And that's the thing is like, I noticed there was like a little bit of a deterioration.
Yes.
Sadness,
Yes.
loneliness, depression. And so it started to kind of creep in and then the doubt came where normally I would find happiness in writing the jokes. I literally would avoid writing the jokes and just I'd sit there and stare at it and be like, I don't know. I don't really feel any, connection to the material. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And also, during COVID, I knew I was helping teachers.
You were.
Because I was putting out
That's when
videos.
it happened for you, man. Yeah,
and so now
absolutely.
I do the shows and I get it. People give me positive feedback like, you're helping me through this.
Yeah.
But also I just go, am I though? Or am I just up there, making jokes at the expense of education? And am I doing a good thing? Or a bad thing? Am I helping us laugh or am I harming I don't want to harm. I don't want to give a bad, bad idea about who teachers are, so it's.
And I'm going to stop you there because this is where I jump in. I have been working with you for how many years now? I got to know you.
A while.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. I consider you a really close friend, a guy that I trust and love. You are doing a service to those people because they not only tell you, they tell me how they feel about you, my friend. The fact that they have a voice where they feel like they're unheard,
Right.
gives them power, gives them hope, my friend. So what you're doing is really, it's laughter is medicine, and teachers they're sick. And they really enjoy what you do. This podcast, people hitting us up when we took our hiatus. I mean, I really want you guys to come back. I really love listening to you guys. I love the feedback we get for every episode. People always respond to what we're talking about specifically on that episode. Like, hey, I feel this way, or this happened to me. Oh my God, thank you guys for bringing that up. So for a guy that doesn't know much, I know this. You're doing a great job, my friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. How much is my copay? Do you take card or?
I take Venmo, Cash App, all that stuff.
But hopefully I can take it another level and say, I love providing the comedy and the humor to teachers, and they laugh it off.
Yes.
And they feel better.
Mm-hmm, they do.
But sometimes it's not enough. And sometimes you got to go talk to somebody. And especially male teachers out there. Sometimes, man, because I get it. You're in a female-driven profession.
You are.
You're a male, and there's a lot of looking up to you. And sometimes you go, I can't be broken. I have to be the strength. And it's like, you can go get a little bit of help somewhere. You can go talk to somebody. And I don't think it's necessarily that even you have to be broken to start therapy. Sometimes you can just simply go in and go, you know what, I'd just like to see, am I on the right track? Am I thinking the right way? Am I doing healthy habits?
Absolutely.
And get some feedback from somebody who, might be able to help you. And be a third party. That's the important part. Is like I sat next to a person. My very first, I'm in several weeks in now, but I sat next to a person who didn't know me and had a complete blank slate on me. And it's like, I get to tell you now my story.
Yeah.
And you get to tell me what you think of my story.
Absolutely.
And am I doing the right thing? And sometimes she was like, yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And that's not a good habit. And sometimes she's like, you know what? I think you're onto something with that. And I'm like,
okay.
All right.
Just the reassurance that you get from a person that doesn't have an emotional investment in you and can give you an objective opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And here's the thing I'll say, and I know we have to go here, but I'm glad you're doing it as far as a comedian, not just a teacher, because here's why. I think in comedy, people only see us on stage making people laugh, but they don't see, like you said, the travel where we're by ourselves for most of the time. And in that time you're alone, which people shouldn't be. I don't think human beings should be alone like that. You will you'll try to fill that aloneness with something, and that's where bad habits start for a lot of comedians.
Yep.
Drinking, drug use, and stuff like that, or doing things you shouldn't probably be doing because you're trying to fill that gap. So, man, it's important for me. Like, I started doing cruise ships. I'm gone for 2 weeks at a time, and although I'm on a boat with 4,000 people, I'm still alone.
Yeah, you couldn't be further from society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what helped me was I get to talk to someone, like you said, and with the technology the way it is now, I got to video call my family all day.
Yeah.
To see them, to interact with them, really mentally helped me, because without that, I'd be in a dark place. I couldn't do that. I'm a social person. So I need my family and friends around. So
teachers, you should find that support network too. If it's somebody at school, I had one good friend when I taught high school that I talked to all the time, and it was great. He'd come into my room and we'd chat, hang out. I'm a firm believer in Christopher McCandless, who wrote Into the Wild, and he do you know the story of Into the Wild?
I don't think I do.
So it's a kid who left right out of college, right out of high school, gave all of his money for college away, and went into Alaska, and unfortunately died in the wilderness.
They made a movie
about that.
Yes.
Great movie. But his last line in his book before he died was, "Happiness only real when shared."
Wow. True.
Yep.
True indeed. I agree.
Yeah. So, find that support. So, all right. Find us online, Crying in My Car. We are obviously on YouTube, Facebook. Follow us on all the social medias. Don't forget to support patreon.com/cryinginmycar. James, how can people find you?
As always, you can find me at James Yan Comedian on Facebook and Instagram, and as well as TikTok.
Yep. And don't forget teachersneedlaughter.com for speaking needs, and then devincomedy.com or boardteacherscomedy.com for the upcoming tour dates. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.
Be well.